Hello, today's recording is from Pre-Algebra Chapter 2, Lesson 6. It's a very short lesson, so I do have a quote for you today, but the quote's really short too. So it's from Horseradish, Bitter Truths You Can't Avoid by Lemony Snicket, page 78, and it is, sometimes words are not enough. The end. Okay, so math time. And again, this lesson's really short. It's like 3 slides, and yeah. Okay, so remember, your mission when solving equations is to get the variable by itself. We want nothing attached to the variable. No negative signs, no positive signs. Well, positive signs are fine. But no negative signs, no letters, no fractions, no decimals, nothing. The variable has to be standing alone, all right? And your tool to do this is the inverse operation, also known as the opposite operation, okay? So if something's being added to the variable, the opposite of that would be subtracting the number or the something. If something is being multiplied by the variable, the opposite is to divide by that something, okay? And the other thing that we need to talk about is properties of equality. If I divide on one side, I have to divide on the other side. If I multiply on one side, I have to multiply on the other side. Okay? So there's 2 parts to this. I have to figure out what the opposite operation is, do it to one side, and then use the property of equality to do it on the other side. Alright? You might have some absolute value. Just remember that the absolute value of a negative number is going to be positive, because how far is negative 2 from 0? Well, it is 2 units. And remember that distance is always positive, okay? And you can always have the opposite of the absolute value, where the absolute value of 3 is 3, but the opposite of 3 is negative 3, okay? Just a quick reminder. All right, first 4 problems. So what's happening to x? Well, x is being multiplied by 4 to get 48. So what is the inverse operation of multiply by 4? Well, the inverse would be divide by 4. So I'm going to divide by 4. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other, thanks to our properties of equality. The 4's are going to cancel out, because what's 4 divided by 4? Well, that's 1. What's 1 times x? Just x. So now 48 divided by 4 is going to be 12. So x equals 12. So if I were to do this originally, it would be 4 times 12 equals 48, which is a true statement. So that is correct. All right. For number 2, we have negative 3 times b. Well, what is the opposite of multiplying by negative 3? Well, I'd be dividing by negative 3. So I'm going to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. What I do on one side, I have to do the other. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, leaving me just b. b equals 24 divided by 3. Negative 3, so the answer is going to be negative 8, because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Well, if I multiply negative 3 times 8, negative 8, I'm going to get positive 24, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Alrighty, next, we have 96 is equal to negative 8 times n, divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8. N equals 96 divided by negative 8 is negative 12. There we go. All right, last one of this one, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4 is going to give me negative 56 divided by 4 is 14. B equals positive 14, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Now, one quick thing I want to show you is, that's not up here that I just thought about, is if you have negative x is equal to 4. Well, you got to remember that there's an invisible 1 right here, right? So how do I get rid of a negative 1? Well, I'm going to divide by a negative 1. Divide by a negative 1. X equals negative 4, all right? Because if you think about it and you plug it back into the original equation, you had the opposite of x. Well, if x is negative 4 equals 4. Well, what is the opposite of negative 4? The opposite of negative 4 is 4. 4 equals 4. So this is correct. All right, last slide. Told you this was a short one. It's division. All right, so we have r divided by negative 5 is equal to 10. So what's the opposite of dividing by negative 5? Well, the opposite of dividing by negative 5 is multiplying by negative 5. So I'm going to multiply by negative 5 here, and it's basically going to give me negative 5r or negative 5 times r, over negative 5 is equal to 10. Well, negative 5 over negative 5 is 1. 1 times r is r. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So if I multiply by negative 5 on the left, I have to multiply by negative 5 on the right. Negative 10 times negative 5 is negative 50. All right, well, negative 50 divided by negative 5 is positive 10. There we go. So, number 6, we have s divided by 6 equals 56. What's the opposite of dividing by 6? Well, that would be multiplying by 6. Got to do it on both sides. And that's going to cancel out, because 6 over 6 is 1. S is equal to 54 times 6, which is going to be 324. Okay, so if you divide 324 by 6, you're going to get 54. All right, so what's the opposite of dividing by 20? Well, that would be multiplying by 20. All right, 20 over 20 cancels out, leaving me just t. T is equal to 20 times negative 30, which is going to give me negative 600. There we go. All right. Yeah. Alrighty, ask me if you got any questions. See you guys later. Bye. Told you it was short.